The only reason we're near the Guru is the Dharma. The Dharma is represented by scriptures. It can be in this form in Tibetan. It can be in modern form. It doesn't matter. This and this is exactly the same. So because the highest function of a Buddha, the best action of a Guru is one that teaches. The highest function out of all the deeds of an enlightened being, the most sacred deed of an enlightened being is to teach. Out of the many activities of the Guru, the most important activity is to teach. Therefore, it gives you the sign, the indication that Dharma is the most holy. So since Dharma is the most holy, where is Dharma? Dharma is everywhere and nowhere. But for us, it must be in written form. This written form of Dharma represents the enlightened mind in speech. So if we follow this manual and we follow it meticulously and well, it will bring us to enlightenment. So if we are so careful with the Buddha statue, Chinese are very careful with Buddha statues. Westerners are very careful with cathedrals and churches and crosses. They hold it very sacred. If you look at the Catholics, for example, their cathedrals are beautiful. The crucifixes and Jesus Christ and Mother Mary and the saints are beautiful. Why are they beautiful? Because it's an expression of their respect for the holy. Respect. If you go to Hindu temples, it is so beautifully carved and ornate, inside out, and they offer the best. Why? It is their respect of the holy and the high. So similarly, for Chinese, you take Tape Gong home, you take a Guanti or Guanggong, whatever, you're very careful. You must select the date. You must get the right sifu. You must put it in the right direction, the right height, the right statue. Everything must be perfect, or one thing wrong. Right? Why? That's respect of the sacred. So even with Buddha statues, we're very careful where to put it. It's very clean. It's very nice. We must offer beautiful things on it, gold and silver and jewelry. You know what? We've been neglecting even something more holier, Dharma texts. Dharma texts are even more sacred than Buddha statues. And hence, in Tibet, the spoken teachings of the Buddha called Kangyur, 108 volumes. Every temple that calls themselves a temple must have that. It costs about 45,000 ringgits. Can be ordered from Delhi. Any respectable temple must have the complete teachings of the Buddha. It's called a Kangyur. And for temples who have the money, they will actually write it in gold. The first page or the second page will be written in pure gold as an offering because it's Buddha's speech. I wanted to order the Kangyur a few years ago, but I have a few problems. One, I don't have 40,000. Two, I don't have a place to put it because it's 108 volumes. If I put the Kangyur inside Kachara house, I'm going to have to put myself on the roof and teach you through the roof. Hello? Oh yeah, and you know what you do with those teachings? Those are made for prostrations. Those are made for people to circumambulate. Why? You're circumambulating and prostrating to the teachings of the Buddha. And my wish was bringing it to KH is not to keep it in KH, is to be transferred to the retreat center, the Kangyur Chapel. Wow. The chapel of Buddha's holy speech. Those are the written speech of the Buddha. Where did they come from? 500 years after Buddha's parinirvana, there were still Mahasiddhas and Arhats left who had the perfect power of memory. Means whatever Buddha said, they can recite verbatim. Perfectly. That shouldn't be a surprise to you. Even today, we have people who have photographic memory. We have people who can verbatim, they can recite perfectly. So these great pundits and great scholars and great arhats got together and recited verbatim before it was lost. Everything that the Buddha told and taught and spoke. Everything in the 40 plus years of his career. And those were recorded down by scribes. And those are the Kangyur. Ka is mouth. Gyur is to speak or to say. It's the spoken words of Buddha. And those were meticulously translated for 300-400 years into Tibetan from the holy Sanskrit language. And it's been preserved now. It has not been translated into English yet. I wish it could be. The point is, Dharma texts are the most holy. And on our altars, we should have a Buddha image, any Buddha image, a Dharma text, and a stupa. It's the basics. And Dharma texts, because they're the manual to enlightenment, they represent enlightenment. And the Dharma texts themselves are enlightenment because they embody the enlightened result of a Buddha. Why? Something that's not enlightened cannot teach you to be enlightened. So they are enlightenment in word form. Enlightenment in word form, W-O-R-D. So therefore, when we have a Dharma text in English and Chinese and Tibetan, it doesn't matter. we should respect it very much. If we have a bookshelf, we should not mix our Dharma books with ordinary books. You know, we don't have a love novel, you know, Diana, Princess of Wales, and her lovers, you know, and then we put, why I make myself unhappy up there. No. No. Our Dharma, if we have one bookshelf because we're a cheapskate or because we have a small room or whatever reasons we have, valid or invalid, if we have one bookshelf, the top one should be Dharma, the bottom one should be worldly. Why? We have to push ourselves to make something sacred sacred. And that very respect for something sacred creates the karma for us to realize those texts. When we don't respect Dharma texts, we don't gain realizations. Hey, you know, this is a word for enlightenment, whatever lah. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. So it is said that before you start a Dharma text, out of respect, your hand should be clean. It should be separate from your worldly items. It should be separate from crappy stuff. It should be clean. When you receive it, you should take the Dharma text or whatever it is, bring it to your head and touch it first, and then clean, and then you open it, and you're supposed to read it or study it. And if you really want to be really prim and proper, you don't do that. You know, because it gets a little dry. So you don't use just dirty, grotesque saliva with amoebas and all that stuff to turn your Dharma texts. Can you imagine these holy Dharma? It's so holy, it's one, oh, it's fabulous. You know, or you don't do that. You wouldn't spit at the Buddha, would you? So what's the difference? So when you finish with the Dharma text, you touch it to your forehead, and you realize how sacred it is, and you put it back on the shelf or wherever. And to do that creates awareness for the sacred. It creates awareness for the sacred on the external, which leads to the internal. Leads to what? Awareness. So therefore, when you have holy Dharma text, you should put it on a shelf that's clean. You should take pleasure in cleaning the shelves. You should take pleasure in cleaning the shelves, and you should take pleasure in the way it's stored and put away. And when you use it, you should be totally aware. You know, you don't just you dribble all over it. You put it here and just go to sleep. And you wake up. No. And then you don't put it with your arithmetic book, or you don't put it together with your Playboy book or whatever. You know what I mean? That's for you, lah. And anyways, you keep it separate. You know, you don't put, Harley Davidson 1995, vintage models with your stages and path to enlightenment. It's not proper. Why? You don't have respect for anything. You don't make a distinction between samsara and nirvana. You think, but he's going to say, well, I thought everything's empty. It is empty. You're empty. It is empty when you reach that level. When you're not that level, it is not empty. You're still on a gross level. So when you don't keep that separate, it's very, very bad. And in fact, Dharma books are a better object of offering to offer incense or whatever to. You'll see people with Dharma books, they offer the 5 sensory offerings to Dharma books. You think, but it's words. No, those words are Buddha. They're enlightenment. They're Buddha in the form of words. Dharma books are Buddha in the form of words. So they're very, very sacred. And hence, we offer gold and we offer beautiful brocade. You'll see Dharma covers, like beautiful brocade. People cover in beautiful brocade. Why? You offer brocade to the Buddhas. You offer brocade to the Buddhas. There's no difference. And then, hence, we have beautiful, beautiful cases that display the Dharma books, that display the Dharma text. And what we should do is, we should actually make them as beautiful as possible. We put silks inside, gold. We can put pearls. We can put turquoise. Why? You're offering to Buddha's speech. Buddha's speech is what brings you to enlightenment. So you have beautiful casings. You have beautiful casings. Why? On the outer level, you show the sacredness of the object, and you give teachings to other people how sacred it is. On an inner level, you're creating awareness. On a secret level, you're making offerings to an enlightened object, the speech of the Buddha. So the casing should be as beautiful as possible, should be as ornate as possible, should be as neat and clean as possible, and as expensive as possible. Why? This is not just a casing for a Dharma text. It is an offering to an enlightened speech of the Buddha.